Okay. Okay.
Hi.
Hi. Hi. Good afternoon. Hello, everybody.
Hi. Good afternoon to you. All right. So, how things work with me is just a regular conversation. I'm going to get into some detailed questions. They're not going to be evasive, in your business too much. But I just want people to get to know you as an author and purchase your books. Okay. So, hold on one second. Okay. All right. So I just need you to introduce yourself. I need to know who you are, your genre, and anything you want them to know before we get started.
Okay. Name's Selena Michaels. Genre is dark mafia romance. And uh, there's a lot going on this year, actually, for me. So, two really big things that I haven't even announced yet. So, my PA is probably going to kill me. Audio is coming out this year. We're in
Mm.
production. And my first all black romance. So I'm excited about both of those things.
Oh wow! Congratulations.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's start. You are biracial, correct?
Yes.
Okay. As a biracial and bisexual person, and you are bisexual because I do my homework before I interview y'all.
Yeah.
As a biracial and bisexual woman in a interracial marriage, what does representation look like for you in your books and within the literary space?
Ooh. Well, unfortunately, I am getting a divorce, so uh,
Sorry.
I'm very quiet about it. I've been very, very quiet about it. Only a handful of people in the author community know that I started the divorce proceedings a while back. So I'm no longer married, but representation for me is something that I just want to see like all of us win, right? So like I want to see the plus size girlies win. I want to see the skinny size girlies win. I want to see the tall girlies win.
Mhm.
Um, I really care more about, it sounds so weird to say, like skin color over everything else, because I feel like as a black biracial woman, in my life and in my walk of life, it
Mhm.
seems that I have a little bit of a privilege
Mhm.
when it comes to my skin color, and it really didn't hit me until I had my son.
Mhm.
So when I started my author journey, I got a lot of pushback about having like black women on covers, black women as main characters from publishers and editors and things of that nature. So when people ask me about my characters and they're always like, "Oh, can you describe them?" The thing is that they all are just black, like really, really and truly. And like it's hard because like other authors will come and ask me like, "Hey, Selena, I want to do a black character. How should I describe it?" I'm like, just go in there and be like, they're black and black, and you'll be fine. And they're like, I can't do that, and I'm like, that's all it is, baby. Just tell them that they black. Like that's really what it. Whatever black you want it to be, it's just black. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I don't see it as like I'm black, but I have cousins who are Jamaican and things of that nature. So we come in all different shades and sizes. And when I represent that, I want it to be seen. That's really what it is. I really, especially in contemporary,
Mm.
because I felt like when I first started out, my publisher was just so adamant that the only thing that could sell a black romance was a black man on the cover without his shirt on. And I was just like, girlfriend, no. I was like,
Wow.
have you not seen a beautiful black woman? Like, I don't know what to tell you, but we're beautiful. Okay, our hair is beautiful, our skin is beautiful, our routines are beautiful. And I was like, I guarantee you black women can sell on covers. And I'm saying like a couple of months after that, black strong heroines on fantasy covers took off, and I was like, gotta listen to my gut, man.
Hmm. So how intentional are you um in crafting diverse characters that reflect different backgrounds, experiences, and identities?
So I mean, when it comes to my own representation, I'm pretty intentional about it.
Mm-hmm.
When I dip my toes in other representation, though, I'm a little bit, I mean, there has to be a piece of me somewhere, is all I'm saying, in order for me to really call it a main character or say that I'm going to write somebody's story. And, I have done different representations of different heritages and stuff, and like reached out to other people in those communities. And one big question that I got, and it really made me sit with my writing and really think about it, was, why are you creating this character in the first place? And I was like, you know what? I'm not even mad that you asked that because I didn't think about it, right? And honestly, I probably saw some TV show and I was like, oh, this is fascinating, right? But then I thought about it and I was like, but I don't see anyone from this community that has my success or beyond my success from that community. And that's where I kind of feel like it's harder for me to want to do representation in that community. Just like I want to see Black authors be successful in every subgenre, so too do I feel about my other counterparts. Like, I want y'all to do well. And if I don't see, 30, 40 contemporary Asian, authors being uplifted, I don't feel not comfortable because I'm going to do what I want. But, I don't feel it's really my place for me to push so hard to be like, oh, I have some type of Asian representation, or, oh, I have some type of, Desi representation or something of that nature. So I kind of just try and stay in my wheelhouse, which is my family is Black, Hispanic. We got a little bit of Asian, just a little bit. But mostly just different walks of life of Black and Hispanic. And so I kind of stick with that wheelhouse.
Do you feel like the publishing industry is moving uh toward being better in inclusivity? God damn, you get what I'm saying?
Yes.
Or is there still work to be done?
Gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh, there's so much work to be done.
Mm.
I don't feel like we've made moves at all. I feel like we've made moves in certain subgenres where it's like accepted, right? So like I am in the dark romance wheelhouse, and recently it's been like readers will comment, gosh, there's just not that many, BIPOC Black authors, in dark romance. And I'm like, I feel like that's not true. Like, I feel like that's not true. But then I also know, just because I walk the traditional publishing life, that authors have been told, if you're Black, like, not to show your face and to have like avatars and things, because, it makes it a little bit more acceptable for readers to accept your work. And that's just crazy to me. And there is, I feel like in the publishing industry, there's a thought process that we want representation, but we don't want it by you. You know what I mean?
Ooh.
Like, and I feel like until that narrative is shoved aside, and we're not just talking about the same handful of books, and I see, girlies go rabid for authors like QB Tyler and things of that nature. Like, don't get me wrong, they have fans, but do they have, honestly, H.D. Carlton is our largest representation, right? But there are so many other authors who are, of different walks of life, who should be H.D. Carlton as well, who should have those fans, who should have that success. I'm not necessarily saying it's for me, because I always feel like I have work to do within my writing, you know what I mean? But I know there are so many authors who've been at it longer than I have and still haven't seen, a fraction of what I've seen successfully. So when I look at it that way, it really feels like to be brown and to be published, and not to be doing something that's like paranormal, fantasy, things of that nature. Like, I really feel like in the contemporary aspect, it's an uphill battle. I really do.
You know what's crazy? And it's not even crazy, but every author that I've interviewed that are in different genres has said the same thing about their genre. Especially when they are people of color or they're Black. That they literally say that same thing about, their genre. And that is just so disappointing to me.
Yeah, and it just goes to show you, you know what I mean? Like, I will tell you, honestly didn't start seeing Black book talkers on my For You page until like the last 3 months.
Are you fucking for real?
And even like when I look, like I really have to go into like my on my TikTok, and like you'll look at messages, but you can see like interested things. Like that's where I find Black book talkers. But when it comes to my For You page, it's still so very, very white. And don't get me wrong, I love my white girlies. I love that, they have their platforms and they have, their favorite books and things of that nature. But y'all are pushing the same exact authors, some of which haven't come out with a book in years,
Mm.
aren't even actively writing. And hey, thank you so much for making sure that they can keep a roof over their head and, can take care of their families. But there are other authors that I see, oh my gosh, Amani J, I swear that girl bangs out a book like every 2 weeks. I'm like, I just woke up this morning. What do you mean you're releasing again? Okay, I'm gonna pick it up though.
But a lot of people don't know about her, and a lot of people are sleeping on Kenya Wright. A lot of
Right.
people are sleeping on Sonia B. They are sleeping on a lot from urban fiction to interracial romance. They are sleeping on a lot of Black authors or Black or POC authors. They are literally like, oh, I didn't know y'all write that.
Somebody told me, they're like, I didn't know you were Black. So my Threads account just goes, this is your daily reminder that I am African American. Thank you. I took a picture this morning to remind you that I'm still Black. Yes. Every day that ends in Y. Thank you. Here.
That is crazy.
And
But
you're
you
like,
know
how long
what?
have you
It's
been an
not
author?
crazy, but it's crazy.
Years, guys. I've been an author for 5 years.
Oh my God. That is crazy. Even though it's not crazy, because a lot of times people got to prove their Blackness. And when they say they Black, people still don't believe that they Black.
They're like, we need DNA proof.
Right. Like, let me see the ancestry.
But the thing is though, and that's another thing, but there's the conversation that Black readers themselves, not all, baby, don't come for me, but y'all know some of y'all don't read Black authors. Let's be real.
Oh, that's a conversation that I have every time I talk to an author. That is, trust me, that question was going to come up anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So it is disheartening when I see a Black reader get on here for likes, clicks, and views and make derogatory videos towards Black authors across the board in all genres, but the same themes and tropes that Black author you're complaining about is in that white author that you're reading, that you're praising.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes they're praising the most problematic people who are very problematic to the Black community and even the Hispanic community.
Yeah.
So it's just like, oh my God, why are you like this? Like, what the fuck?
It's just, and I do when I go to follow somebody, I go look, and I look at what you read. And here's my thing: I work full time. I have a full time job because authorhood does not pay the bills, and I read about 2 to 3 books a day. Don't ask me what I'm doing the rest of my life, but I got reading down. So like I read so many authors, so many new authors, just reading, reading, reading. That's like I live, breathe, eat reading. And when I see you guys' pages, knowing how busy I am and how much I read, and I see that y'all haven't even picked up girlies that have been in the game since like 2002, you know what I mean? That there are some Black readers who have never even heard of the author Zane. Like, and I mean, she changed my
What
life.
Black reader has never heard of Zane?
I know, right? Like, and that I'm still actively putting, like I feel like I change a reader's life every day. The moment I get them to pick up a book by a brown or Black author, I'm like, yes, I did it. Another one bites the dust.
Oh my God. And that's terrible. That is terrible. That oh my God. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You are known for your inclusive characters, right? Especially your mafias. Jesus Christ. You are a dark mafia lady.
Yeah.
So from all you're inclusive from all walks of life, and why is that such an important aspect of your storytelling?
Well, because even though like I stay in the house all the time, I do have friends and they come from all different walks of life.
Mhm.
And the crazy thing is I have always told them like, please don't tell me anything because if you tell me something, I'm gonna run with it. Like, you tell me half a story, I've already completed it. Like, just stop. Like, I have so many conspiracies about all of your guys' lives. You don't have to tell me anything. I've written your ending. Okay. And so when they do tell me something like, okay, so I immediately go, you want this in a book? Is that what you're asking me? I have a
Mhm.
girlfriend who is in the military and she is always telling me about her escapades. And I'm like, girl, I didn't know you could do that on a desk, but I'm gonna write about it. Thank you so much. Like, just keeping me in business, and I appreciate each and every one of them.
Yeah.
I just finished writing a scene, and I sent the dedication to my PA because I dedicated it to my mom, and I was like, "I'm going to hell, girl. I'm going to hell."
Oh my god.
And we had communion in church today. Thank you.
Oh my god. Have you ever faced pushback from intersexuality topics that you may put in your book, or being inclusive in your writing? Have you ever faced pushback, and if so, why? And how did you deal with it?
Twice. Uh, I really feel like it's because my personality is don't try me.
Mm.
So the first time was an editor. She told me that no, we couldn't have 13 pages of skinning someone. And it absolutely disgusted her. And I was like, that's a lot of research going in the drain.
Oh my god.
So I was pretty upset about it. But I was like, you know what? I took it as a compliment and I was like, thank you. And she just couldn't let it go. She had to like nail the coffin in. She was like, no, that wasn't a compliment, honey. And I was like, yeah, see how I took that high road? Like, I was like, thank you so much for the compliment. And then you still decided to go low.
Oh
Yeah.
wow.
And then the other one, oh man, this was bad because I feel like when I was a little bit younger, my younger years, I popped off a little bit quicker. You know what I'm saying? And my Bible Belt girlies, I love y'all, but we popped off a lot and not seeing eye to eye. So I had an editor who did not like a scene in Stalk to the Altar. The first rendition, it was called Deviant, and it was because it was a Black Lives Matter scene.
Mm.
And we ultimately edited it out, but that conversation was so sour because I just asked it. I was like, girl, you racist? Like, I'm so sorry. Like, I was like, don't hate me. Like, no shade, but all the shade. And she was like, I don't know if we can work together after this. I was like, I don't know either, girl, because that was deep. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Wow.
you don't like wake up one day and go to work and be like, yo, are you racist? Like, yeah. So that's the only. I haven't really received much. I've received the like, is there something wrong with me that I like this
Yeah.
questions?
Damn. Your books often feature interracial or multicultural type of relationships.
Hmm.
What draws you to these themes?
Everybody can get it.
Oh shit.
Everybody can get it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't like the conversation of like, was okay. So I mean, maybe it was just me, but in college, there was all these conversations that alluded to like, what's your type? Like, and men, a lot of men would say like, oh, I love women, but I could never date a black woman. And I'm just like, but have you met all the black women on this earth? You know what I'm saying? Like, they're everywhere in every country. Like, you haven't tapped them all. So I feel like that's a bold statement. And for me, I haven't met everybody in this world, and I'm not going to because half of y'all would stalk me. I'm adorable. But I just feel like everybody can get it. Anybody can be kidnapped. You can be kidnapped if you were 25 years old. You can be kidnapped at 70. The same with relationships. The girl next door with the beautiful long flowing hair can get it. The girl who's bald and ain't got no boobies can get it.
Mm.
Everybody can get it. You know what I'm saying? It's just about who is looking at them and what they see when they're looking.
So how do you ensure authenticity? I need to stop smoking that shit. Um,
I'm so glad I'm not the only one.
how do you ensure that you're authentic when writing about different cultural black backgrounds and experiences? Because you write a lot about them Russian mafia motherfuckers, boy.
Uh, it's probably gonna get me canceled. It depends. It depends on how angry I think somebody's gonna be with me, right? So, like, I know the black community, y'all will drag me for filth if I don't come correct. Y'all will drag me for filth. But like, I don't know nothing about people in Russia. I'm sure if somebody in Russia picked up my book, they'd be like, "What is this?" What? I don't think that's how Russians sound, but like I feel like that would be, they'd be like, I don't even say those words, like, and I've asked other Russians to help me translate, and they're just like, wait, what are you writing? And I'm like, yeah, don't worry about it. But like, what's this word mean that I
I'm
found on Google?
hollering. Oh my god.
But no, I slide into DMs. Like a lot of people ask me how did I become so obsessed with Katerina Mora, and that's because I slid in her DMs before she locked them down, and now she can't get rid of me. I was like, Katerina, I would like to know all about Desi women, and you're the only one that I know that possibly would be one. So she was like, really? This is what you chose to message me at 3 a.m. I was like, yep, yep, yep. Mm-hmm. So tell me all about your life, person. You don't even know me, like.
Oh my god.
But
So
she's so pleasant though. So yeah.
so what do you think is missing in the portrayal of interracial relationships and in the mainstream literature?
Honestly, I think sometimes in mainstream y'all are too safe. I
Mm.
think instead of being like her areolas were dark, like berries, or something,
Mhm.
you just completely bypass it. I mean, I have read so many mafia novels,
Mhm.
and I'll pick them up. I get to like 50%. And I'm like, wait, the heroine's black? When did you say that? Like, what line did I miss 4 chapters ago? Because when did you say that? Like, and then I'll see other authors that have like scenes, and this is actually kind of which helped me create scenes in my books where, I sleep with silk pillows and a bonnet. So if some sexy Russian man is going to kidnap me and give me everything and possibly break my legs so I can't leave, well, he better have satin sheets and bonnets, cocoa butter, coconut oil. I'm just saying, you got all this money,
That is true.
you know?
True. That is true. Do you think wait, no. Have you ever received criticism or praise of like for the way you depict interracial couples, and how do you respond to that?
I'm gonna say probably. Did I read it? No. Like, I think I check my reviews maybe once a month now, maybe.
Yeah.
If that, you really have to like search for me. Like, you
Mhm.
have to want me to see you for a review, because like you have to like tag me or something, because otherwise I don't see it, because my PA is always saying, oh my gosh, you're doing so well, and I'm like, I don't even have readers today, what are you talking about?
Oh,
But then people will tell me all the time, we were talking about your book, and I'm like, really, this year? Like really, I don't see it on my socials. I don't know why. I don't see anything. So if I get criticism, I don't see it. I did hear a rumor that apparently some readers think I'm racist.
how the fuck are you racist and you black?
I think it's because I said once on somebody's Facebook post, if a marginalized community is talking and you're not a part of that community, sit down and shut the fuck up.
Facts.
And I was like, but
Facts.
I stand by that. So I mean, if that's what makes me it, I guess. But
That
that's
is
the only
insane.
criticism I've really seen in the past like 2, 3 years.
That is insane. Do you think that there are like specific challenges that interracial couples face in literature that don't always reflect real life?
Mm. Um, Somebody said something to me the other day. Another black author. She said she found success because like black readers like to read about like main male characters that had like a prejudice
Mm.
against African American women. And I sat with that for 2 days. And then I was like, nope, can't do it. I'm sorry. If they have prejudices, it's probably because of like, it's like country to country more than anything else. And when I show like any type of like racism or prejudice in my books, it is always the American experience.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like over explaining stuff. So like I don't really feel the need to put in my books, hey, I'm an American author and these are gonna be American experiences. I just feel like you either like it or you don't.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was in an interracial marriage and we were married a long time, almost 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
And he called me the N-word. And you know, romance teaches you to like forgive when they're like mean to you and stuff, like dark romance, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But I asked all of my white friends, and I mean all of them. I mean, I went all the way back to Sarah Lou in kindergarten, okay? And I said, would you ever, because you know, I'm a easy breezy, beautiful cover girl. Like, I'm so laid back. Like, if there's anybody to be comfortable with, it's me. Like, you want to smoke that? Are you sure? All right, I'm going to be here with you, but I can't smoke that. But I'll sit here in case something bad happens and dial 911 for you. You got it. Like, you know, I'm just chill. I go with the flow. So I asked them all, would you ever, in my presence, say the N word? Know that this will not affect our friendship. I'm just asking out of curiosity. And every single one of them said no. And some of them were like, I wouldn't even think that word because I feel like somebody's ancestor will choke me out. Like, no. Like every single, and I have a lot of white friends. I went
Yeah.
to a very privileged, predominantly white school. That's the same as college, you know. I've had a lot of Caucasian friends. And I was like, y'all all can't be on the same page. It's like when everybody in politics gets on the same page, I'm immediately red flag. It's like, y'all are all on the same page about this. Okay. So I can never forgive that. And so I feel like there's nothing really I've read
Mm-hmm.
in literature that showcases that. And
Yeah.
I feel like that's exactly what that type of character would lead to because I lived it. You know what I mean? So I have seen romances that really fantasize, romanticize, you know, interracial relationships in a way that I feel is detrimental to the community. In which
Mm-hmm.
it's like when you see someone that's like a Camp Clans member or something of that nature, go after them. You go get that and you find your happily ever after. And I'm telling you today, I'm not getting lynched. Won't be me.
I feel like I know an author that does that, but I
God love them. I don't want to judge. Judge
yeah,
not, lest thee be judged. But it won't be me. It won't be today. It
yeah,
won't be Selena Michaels. I can't capitalize off of that. And honestly, I say I don't have triggers, but I find it triggering. You know, I'm
yeah.
sorry.
I agree. I agree. I agree. What are some of your favorite interracial tropes, or to write? And which ones do you avoid? Well, you told me what you avoid. So
Yeah.
which ones are your favorite?
Are there interracial tropes? I don't know.
I don't know.
I mean, I can tell you that there's nothing that's really off limits.
Yeah.
I don't know if there are there interracial tropes. I don't know.
I mean, I think there's a trope for everything,
Hmm.
but they might not have just been labeled yet.
I honestly I don't pay attention. It took me like 3 years to realize every book had kidnapping in it, and I was like, oh, well
Um,
now that we know, we'll just keep doing it. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And then I just find new ways to do it. Like I was taking my kid to the hospital and driving in the parking structure, and I saw that they were doing construction, so they had these plastic tarps up and they were clear. And I was like, what if somebody got kidnapped from the parking structure? And that's what happens in Black Mail to the Altar.
oh my god. You know what? Wow. Many of your books have mafia slash dark romance subgenre thingy going on. Um, what inspires you to go into this craziness of dark romance, and how do you remain sane?
Okay, so two things. I grew up around Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and there is a huge river that runs through it called the Schuylkill River. And when I was growing up, the rumor had it that the mob and their friends and associates used to dump bodies there. Okay, so that's one. Two, if you've been to Pennsylvania, you know true crime is crazy out there. Like, you can hide something on somebody's farm and it'll never be found. Okay. And then the other thing is, there was a girl whose family, I grew up with her. Her family had pizza shops and they were all Sicilian. And it spawned my first series because you could not tell me in high school that they weren't a part of the mafia. I wanted to ask, but I was too afraid to lose my fingers and toes. But 100%, like, they kept coming up with new pizza shops over the years too, and I'm just like, and I won't ever like say the pizza name shop. Like, they're actually really profitable. I love their food, and I don't like. They know my first set of books was based off of their family, and they haven't sued me. So I'm like, thanks, guys.
Oh my
And
god!
also, they gave me a waitressing job in high school, so thank you.
So
Appreciate it.
how do you balance writing morally gray characters while keeping them, I guess, likable or redeemable, something like that?
If you ask some of my readers, some things are not, redeemable. I just kind of take my frustrations out, I guess. It keeps me sane. I could go into work and, throw things and yell at people, or I could create a mafia don who throws things and yells at people and tells them they're terrible at their job and that they should just get out of their office. Like, so these situations that sometimes I find myself in, I either like I exaggerate them because it's like when you see, you're walking in the middle of the night and you hear a sound and you're like, oh my God, there's a robber behind me. But really, it was just like a cat, like that. Or, I just got something I need to work through and I can't work through it the way that I need to, or I'll go to jail. So
Well, there's that.
create characters based off of that.
So, what do you think separates a well-written mafia romance from the ones that are really unrealistic or too exaggerated?
Ah, well, I would have to be for real and admit that I actually don't read that much mafia. As much as I read a lot of books, I don't read a lot of mafia. And the reason is because I'm always terrified that I'll write something and it'll be so close to somebody else's something. And now there's a misunderstanding. And now we've got readers picking sides. And I don't want that. I really like to stay in my author cave with my head down, just kind of zoning out, chilling with my babe. We're all breezy here. But I feel like readers depict that. You know
Mm.
what I mean? Like, and there's never gonna be because there's something for everybody. You
Hmm.
know, like there's readers who absolutely love haunting Adeline, and there are other readers who are like, this is not at all how any of this goes, and it's unrealistic. I will tell you that I live close to DC, and I've met some people who work in the industry, and they are very sad individuals. um, not like no shade, but like none of they're not they're definitely not charismatic. They've been through some things. I'll say that. The one lady, I honestly was uncomfortable asking her about her job just because, like, once I found out what she did, I was like, oh, that explains the demeanor. And then I didn't want to ask any more questions because I felt like this isn't really my place. And I was supposed to be selling her a camper anyways, so had nothing to do with her job. So
Do you think there's a difference in how POC characters are portrayed in mafia romance compared to, I guess, the traditionally white protagonists?
Um, hmm. That's a hard one. It's tricky because I also look at like there's a lot of urban fiction
Mm-hmm.
that is also like there's a bunch of black mafia authors that come like from the urban fiction
Mm-hmm.
subgenre. So it's a little bit harder to say because I don't write urban fiction.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't really like to dip my toe in that space because I don't have much knowledge on it. But I will say, what was the question? Because I totally lost my trail of thought. My bad.
See, we both need to get off that shit. See? Do you think there's a difference between what did I say? Do you think it's a difference between POC characters are how they are portrayed in the mafia romance compared to the white protagonists?
Yes, I feel like POC characters in the mafia romance, like contemporary wise, are very whitewashed.
Mm.
I'm gonna say I get so mad, and over the years, these past 2 years, I found the Lord, and I found Jesus, and so I'm getting less mad. But like, I hate picking up a mafia romance, and again, I don't know that she's a black girly. She's got no hair care, or she's like the book was portrayed as like a black female character, and she's actually mixed with something else, and there's no sense of blackness within it. You know what I mean? Like you can have biracial, people from other countries and be black and things of that nature, but where was the blackness? And having food such as fried chicken is definitely not the mood. We eat more than that. And actually, I don't even like fried chicken. I said it.
What? Would you think you're gonna lose your black card because you don't like fried chicken?
It totally froze on me, so I don't know what happened.
No, I get it. I think that being black is very diverse. Is because nobody is a monolith in the black diaspora. So it's very diverse. It's just that some people come into the black culture and just assume we are all the same. They don't understand, even being in America, we come from different regions. We talk different, we have different slang, we wear our
Yeah.
clothes different, we all do different things. It's not monolithic. I just wish people would understand that. So, what are what are some misconceptions about mafia romance that you think need to change? Did you hear my question?
My internet connection is so I missed the question.
Oh, I said, what are some misconceptions about mafia romance that you think should change? Oh, did you hear me?
Um oh, okay. Yeah, I heard you. It's
Oh,
just my connection keeps dropping on and off. I don't misconceptions. I don't know. I feel like that he's a good person. Can you guys hear me? I feel like it's hard to do mafia, and I'm sure there are mafia authors who do this where he's just a good person.
mm,
Like I don't know. It feels like a hard pass. Like I don't know. It just feels like a hard sell that he
mm-hmm.
has like a heart of gold and he's not morally gray. Like I just feel like they all have to be morally gray. I'm sorry, girlies. I'm sorry to break your hearts.
Have you ever been concerned about the dark themes um, in your writing, or do you see them as necessary to the story?
There has been some times where I've been like, did I go too far? Especially this recent one. I finished Hunted and I had to ask my PA, did I go too far? And she said, yes, but my alpha reader said you didn't go far enough. So And it made sense. My thing is, does it make sense?
Mm,
Doesn't make sense. Like it's not about being gratuitous. It's about with the character that I have portrayed, would he truly not do this thing that I'm having him doing? And the answer is usually no.
mm.
He would 100% do it. He would 100% do it, if not worse.
Are
Because at the end of the day,
uh
they're villains.
That is true. I haven't met a mafia type person, mafia cartel, whatever you want to call it. I haven't met one that has just had a heart of gold. They were just criminals and just yeah, morally gray. Yeah.
I mean, I hate to bring real life into it, but the P Diddy case. That is a real life criminal organization right there. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a criminal organization. Do any of those people look like good fuzzy cinnamon roll type alpha men you want to be with?
Oh fuck no.
Exactly. Now, I don't think about Diddy when I'm writing, but I'm just saying. That's why when it's like, is it too dark? No, it's never too dark because they're terrible, awful human beings. Thank you.
Do you think that black authors tend to shy away from the morally gray and taboo aspect of dark romance, and especially with mafia? Do you think they kind of shy away? Because I've always said, and I stand on this, street lit in the black community was the original dark romance.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think a lot of black authors, because mainstream is so profitable nowadays, that they shy away from the taboo aspects because they are black?
I do. I do. I do because that's what it seems like. And
Mm,
if it walks like a duck and it quacks like a duck, it's a duck. But that's what it really seems like because when I pick up black romance authors in the mafia genre, I go, one of these things is not like the other, and that's me. And I know I'm not the only one out there who writes like me, right?
mhm,
Because at the end of the day, when you're an author and you're on the author side, you're always told like everything's been done. So, like, I'm looking around like, okay, so where are the girlies who write mafia and it's this level of crazy?
mm,
I know they're out there, right? But
yeah.
where are my friends? Like that's because when I pick up their work, I'm like, oh, that was nice.
Mm,
It was a nice time. Thank you for the candles and the flowers. Very romantic. We took a nice long walk. But then I look at mine and I'm like, wow, on the dead body?
not
You didn't
on the
even kiss
dead
her
body.
first, sir. You didn't even like I literally woke up at 2 a.m. and I said, did he even kiss her? And my PA was like, I don't think he did. And I was like, and that's published. It's out there for all people to see. Did I change it? No. Because if he wanted to kiss her, he would have kissed her. You
That's
know?
it. So, what black or POC authors have played a significant role in shaping your writing as an author?
Well, I feel like people are going to get offended because my answer is none. I would say if I had to give anyone any type of like hats off, it would probably be Zane because she got me back into reading. I shouldn't have been reading her when I was reading her. Let's just say that. I was a little young, but it found my love and passion for writing. Like I was like, wow, like I don't know, maybe this is offensive, but at that time I was like, I can do that. like, like so that's where like I was in high school writing things about people in class that I should not have been writing. I
Yeah.
apologize. But I think that's the only like you know what I mean? And then there are times where I will pick up an author's work
Mm-hmm.
and I will feel something.
Mm,
And those are the times that I give, you know, I give my flowers. And you usually see it all over social media because I'm usually not very silent, I'm very loud. So when you can make me feel something when I read your work, when I can't get it off my mind, when I want to tell everyone who listens, just like I've watched the Wicked movie 55 times, gonna watch it again tonight.
Oh my God.
Getting my money's worth. But like when I feel like that, that's when I want to give like all the praise. I want everybody to read them, and
Mm-hmm.
you know, and I'll talk about those books over my own, you know. But I
Mm.
also forget who is who. I do. I forget. I'm like, are you? You're black, right? And I'm telling you, God love her. I love Jeffy Annis, but I tell you, every single year we have the same conversation, which is, you're American, right? And she's like, Selena, you ask me this every year. I'm like, you're black, right? She's like, Selena, you ask me this every year. I'm not going to give you guys her answers, but I do ask her the same questions every year because I haven't seen her. I go, I be forgetting. I be forgetting. I do. And I will straight up ask you. I'm just like, who are you again? Oh, yeah, that's right.
I saw on your site you had a couple of authors that I am actually fans of and have some of their books. Laurel K. Hamilton, Christine Feehan. Those two are, besides Laura Lai as well, are some of my favorite white authors that write paranormal.
Mhm.
Um, you mentioned them as like inspirations almost.
Yeah, so those were the books that I read when I was like in high school and college
Hmm.
that really kept me from making a bad like life decision. I guess it wouldn't be bad, but like it wasn't my calling. Like I was hands down, I kept telling my family, I'm gonna be a nurse and I'm gonna go to medical school. And they were like, you? And I was like, wait, you don't think I'm smart enough? They're like, oh no, sweetie, we know you're smart. And now I realize just because my family knew it, I do not care about people like that.
Right,
Right?
right,
Like you gotta be
right.
caring. Like I've had some doctors and nurses that they do not care about people. I'm like, whoo, I dodged a bullet because you are cold. Please don't touch me.
Wow.
No. Um, but yeah, it wasn't my calling, and I guess you could say maybe I should have went and wrote paranormal, but I tried my hand. I tried my hand a couple of times at paranormal, at fantasy, um, and you know what happened? I'm so glad you asked. It turned into mafia. Surprise. Somehow, some way, they started slinging drugs, kidnapping people, and you know they had guns. I don't like
Oh my
why are we
God.
aliens with guns? I don't know. But yeah, so once I realized that there was no escape, I just leaned into it. I was like, okay, well, there's no escape for me. There's no escape for you guys.
Jesus. So how do you blend the inspirations? Because you did say Zane, and you have Laurel Hamilton and Christine Feehan. And I think you mentioned Pepper Winters on there.
Mm. Oh, it's been
How
so
do
long.
how do you blend the inspirations and still create something that's uniquely yours?
I guess I don't know. I go a lot with my gut.
Hmm.
I tell people all the time that I outline, but the thing is I go into an outline and 9 times out of 10 it doesn't turn out the way that I thought it was going to. And then I present it to my team of readers who have been with me since like day one, and I
Hmm.
go, this is crap. And they go, okay, let's not be too hasty because I've thrown away
Right.
lots of books. My words mean nothing to me. I will trash them in a heartbeat. So they try to like preserve it because we just wasted a month doing all of this.
Right.
um, I mean, I'm not as insecure about my writing as I used to be a couple of years ago, and that just really for me was just narrowing down my circles. But I
Hmm.
just try to like listen to what I see from readers. So like I feel like back then when these authors were, you know, really, really in their prime,
Hmm.
um, readers weren't as vocal about
Mm.
like their wants and their needs and like what they're looking for. Now I feel like I can't open a social media account without a reader being like, I'm looking for black authors who do taboo. Like, you know what I mean? Like, are you there? Like, and I myself have put out, I'm looking for blase because I'm just looking for something to read.
Hmm.
But you hear more feedback from readers nowadays than anything else. And while I like what's popular, I've just learned that 9 times out of 10, I'm gonna go left. Everybody's
Mm.
gonna go right, and I'm gonna look like I'm gonna go right, and then I go left. And then somehow we ended up in hell, and I don't know how we got here.
Well, yeah, yeah. But I kind of like that you stick to your guns and you stand on business when it comes to writing in that genre and not, sugarcoating it.
I
And
tried. I, I really did. I think when Trapping His Angel, when I wrote that one, I was like, you guys, I swear this time it's a true romance. And they were like,
do you think you can write a true romance without the no?
no,
Okay.
no. I really did. You know, I went back and I took back something I did. Like, y'all will see it probably 2 books from now. But I maimed a character really bad, and I was like, you know what? That's too much, guys. That's too much. We'll just do a little maiming.
Just a little maiming.
Just a little.
Okay.
It's just too much. I was like, if we can't hear, see, or speak, what do we do? Like, what happens? I was like, what happens? Like, we're just gonna be looking at blackness.
Right, right. Motherfucking see, this is why dark romance be having me clutching my motherfucking pearls because y'all are crazy.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, y'all,
I,
y'all just a tad bit touched.
I
I
learn new things every day. Like, I didn't realize there was a necrophiliac trope or something like that, but apparently I got it. I was like, and apparently there were no trigger warnings, no trigger warnings in any of my books. I was like, oh, do I need to add that?
oh my god.
Don't we have enough?
Oh my god, Jesus.
And
So
honestly, I forget. I'll write. I've started doing it where as soon as something triggering happens, I go and update the trigger warning list because otherwise I forget it happened. And I'm like, oh, he did drug her? When? Oh, okay.
this
I
dude,
believe y'all. I believe y'all about your strife. I'm 4 books ahead of y'all, but I believe you about what happened in book 4.
hi, Jesus. Okay. Okay. The different intersections of your identity, biracial, bisexual, do they reflect as loudly in your books as they do in your life, your real life?
Honestly, I feel like they're louder in my books than in real life. But only because in real life I don't leave my house.
Oh well, that'll do it.
You know, like I leave my house for like three things and three things only. Food, my child, and possibly his school. And that's about it. I don't like being outside. It's a lot of work
It
to
is.
talk to
It
people.
is.
Everybody wants to say hi. I don't know why they think I'm approachable. I
I
have
ask the same goddamn question every fucking day.
I worked in a workplace where the men would say every day, you should smile more. We'll get more sales.
Oh, I fucking
Mind
hate
you,
that.
I was the top salesperson, but I should smile more. I'll get more sales. Okay. But anyways, so I've like, I walk around with like my rest in bee face and my frown and still, hey, how you doing today? I had a maintenance man be like, you didn't straighten your hair this week. I'm like, sir, don't you have a girlfriend? Yeah, she's out of town, sir. Back up. 10.
Jesus.
Why I don't leave my house because people are crazy out here and they want to talk to me. Like we can be friends. We can be friends. You see, we're friends. But see, you're over there and I'm over here. And after we're done, I can go in my bedroom. I can put on my fuzzy slippers. I can walk around with my bonnet if I want to for 24 hours and you'll never know, you know?
Facts. Do you ever feel a responsibility to represent certain experiences that are authentically in your writing?
No. So like hear me out. Life is really hard, guys. Like life be lifing, like work is hard sometimes, people get divorced, people
Yeah.
die, sickness is abound us, and everything is so expensive, especially eggs. So with that being said, All of these things are so important. I can't take responsibility for anything else. Adulthood is the hardest hood next to motherhood. And I'm sorry, but the in person, like daily adulthood that I do takes up so much that I could not take on anymore. You know what I mean? I would love to, like just like Miss America wants world peace. I too want world peace. Will I actively go out there to do something about it? Absolutely not. There's too much going on in this house right here that I cannot. I feel for everyone, you know? I want everyone to live a peaceful life. I want us to have an amazing life. I just want us to read and do, escape in those worlds, but I cannot take responsibility. Mm-mm, mm-mm. Responsibility, that's a large word. And as the sole payer of all these bills, I cannot be responsible for other folks' children. But I can tell you this, if you want me to take responsibility, first call your mother and have her take responsibility first. And I will be right after her, I promise. Because somebody had left me a review that was like, you have to pay for my bills, like my therapy bills. And I was like, not today, ma'am. Listen. I was like, Sarah Beth, I have TRICARE for insurance, and the military is not picking up anything
Girl, who you
extra.
telling? I'm a
Mm-mm.
veteran. I already know.
Oh yeah, TRICARE is the last to pick up anything, so we are not taking
Anything.
on other folks' therapy bills. But you know what? If your mom takes responsibility, I will too.
I'm holler.
I gotta do what our elders do. I was raised to respect them, so if your mama does it first, I will too.
How do your own personal experiences shape the emotional depth of your characters? I'm scared to hear this answer. I really am. You have me cracking up. I swear to God.
Okay, so I'm only saying this because she doesn't have social media except for like Facebook, but don't go find her because you don't want that. My sister is like, she loves aliens, she loves true crime, she loves all the crazy things. And when I tell you that her conspiracy theories sometimes crack me up, and that like it could be 3 a.m. and I will randomly just throw something out there, she's like, it's probably true, Because actually, I read somewhere like I could throw out any scenario at her and she will have a true crime case where it happened. And that's terrifying. But they say write what you know. So
That's, y'all, she is. Okay, how about this? Your goal, from what I did my investigation on you, because I deep dive into y'all socials and whatever else I can find about y'all besides your books. So your goal is to uplift women, right? As a whole. Why is that important across the board?
well, correction,
Mm.
uplift black women.
Oh, okay,
And
okay,
here's
okay.
why it's a correction. Because in media,
Hmm.
we have so many white girlies. Y'all are doctors and nurses and crackheads and trailer park people also, but every spectrum. Every spectrum. We got Breaking Bad. You got girlies on the Grey's Anatomy show. I'm just saying, y'all got General Hospital, Days of Our Lives. I'm just saying, y'all got a lot going for you, and I love that. Y'all are queens. I love that for you guys, right? But like, when I think top black actresses and black stories, and I can only come up with like Scandal, you know what I mean, and Grey's Anatomy. It kind of makes me mad, just a little.
Mm,
And I'm trying to do better. I'm trying to be a better person, right? Because
mhm.
I shouldn't be jealous,
Yeah.
and I shouldn't be mad about it. I just want our stories to be heard and know that you can be a psychiatrist and still get kidnapped at the end of the day. You know what I mean? Like, you can be a really strong, powerful woman and still get snatched. That's all I want you to know. I am uplifting you guys, but also telling you the cautionary tale that is, it doesn't matter who you are. If the mafia wants to get you, they're gonna get you. Like, You could be Tatiana, you could be Sarah, you could be whoever you want to be. You could be gay, you could be they, but they will snatch you if they want you. That's all you need to know.
It was not where
That's
I
not where
thought
you
she
thought I
was.
was going with
I
that.
didn't either. I did not. I did. But am I surprised after talking to her for a few minutes? No, no,
Very well done.
no.
Very well
Um, how do you ensure that your female characters are empowering without uh falling into tropes unnecessarily?
All right, so
Uh oh.
I am the youngest, not the youngest, but one of the youngest of like five. And my older siblings, man, they were so street smart, man. You couldn't get anything past them. Imagine my surprise when my parents told me our family history. And when they started telling us that people in our family, ran the streets and ran them books. And I was shocked. I'm like, what do you mean uncle did that? For who? Oh, I can't tell nobody. I had to get it out, but also not die. I love my family. I don't want them to off me. But I learned things. And then I started talking to other black girlies and I learned they too grew up and learned that some of their family members did some unsavory things. And I was like, is this a trend? And so I just ask when I see somebody like yourself, I go, girl, where you get your hair done?
Oh, you're asking my
Mm-hmm.
daughter.
Oh,
My daughter.
really?
Yes.
You pick the color. Or did she do the color?
Oh, this has been my staple color
Oh,
since
I love that color, man.
forever.
So when you see a black heroine who's plus size with reddish hair, it might come from this conversation. It might not. I don't know. Don't sue me though.
Well, I have a few authors that have put me in their books based off of my personality and being a female dom and having my own motorcycle club. They put me in a lot of shit.
And personally, I don't feel like there's any type of when it comes to black girlies stereotype that I can really touch, right? Because I feel like we can do and
Anything.
be anything, and I feel like that for my characters too. Like sometimes I'll box myself in where I'm like, oh, what do you mean we've been in the bedroom for 3 months? You gotta eat, girlie. Come on outside and get some fresh air or something before you die on me, but I see it as like if I want you to be a super powerful woman, I will. If I want you to be submissive, well, guess what? That there's going to be some type of power within that submission. It really just depends on the type of reader that reads it. Because when I first started writing, I have readers who would tell me that my female heroines were weak. And now I have a team that literally will point out all the reasons why my heroines are strong. You know what I mean? And it's hard because usually authors put in a reflection of themselves within their main characters. So when you go, and I want readers to keep this in mind, when you go and you're tearing apart, critiquing that work, and you're like, that character was weak and it wasn't the way that I saw it. Was it not the way that you saw it because you yourself have stereotypes of what you think that character should be? Let me tell you something. I wrote a trilogy with black twins. Great seller. Until people opened that work and then they were like, oh, I didn't realize the twins were black. All the flyers say black twins on them. And when I promote it, when I talk about it, I always say my African American, my black twins. Even the videos, I made sure that if I couldn't find a black man to be in the video, which I physically went and found a model on Instagram and bought his pictures for my covers for that before I changed them. And I would get readers that were like, oh, well, I loved it, but then I just realized they were black. And it's like, do you hear the words that are coming out of your mouth? Seriously, I really think that readers should go back and read their reviews and say them out loud with their full chest. If it makes you uncomfortable, if it just doesn't sit right. Why? Why are my black heroines not good enough? That's what I want to know. I ask this question every year. I ask my team and they always pat me on the back. They're like, it's okay. But honestly, I want to know why my heroines are not good enough, because I see so many different mafia books that are uplifting.
Mm.
When they're black, they're written by white authors.
Mm. Yeah.
I
There's
bet you there are readers out there right now today who have no clue H.D. Carlton is Latinx.
yeah.
Clue. Just because someone is pale, just because they look like they may burn in the sun, does
Yeah.
not mean they are not a BIPOC person. Like they're just not. Like you know what I mean? Like there's just we come in all different shades, from the palest of the pale to the darkest of the dark.
Yeah.
And once readers and people understand that, I feel like the movement for change will happen more steadily. But until they get this idea, the stereotypical idea of what blackness looks like, what
Mm.
brown looks like, what a person of color is like to them, because they haven't gone out of their way to meet people of color. I have one friend who is an actor. He is 6'7" plus size, a beautiful black man, and he
Mm.
acts and he sings and he dances. And when people see him, they're scared because he looks like a huge linebacker. Gentlest cinnamon roll person.
My type of guy.
Mm-hmm. Like literally. He is the sweetest soul, but he's like, I love when people see me outside after dark. you know, because the youngins be like that. But that's the stereotype that he has, where
Yeah.
he is in his car just hanging out. People are gonna look at him like he's doing something dangerous, and he's literally just on TikTok.
Yeah.
Like, what do you think those people or those characters are supposed to be like? Those are the stereotypes.
So, what is your message to Black women? Because I stand corrected. What is your message to Black women as far as about strength, resilience, and love? Um, do you hope Black women take your stories and take that from it?
Well, no. I really, really don't want you guys looking for love in my books. Like, I know I write romance. I do. I know that. It's like erotica, right? Like erotica is meant to be sexy and titillate, but you don't want that every day, right? So like that's how I want you guys to realize it is a fantasy. And that I don't truly want to unalive that many people. It just happens. But like for black women, I want you to be seen in every aspect. And it stinks because dark romance is not the only subgenre that I would like to speak for, but that's what I write, right? But I want to see you win in every aspect. I want to see black women in contemporary romance, not just football romance where they're cheating, where Jamal is cheating and he has a gun and all of that. Like literal softies. I want you to have it all, just like our white girlies do. That's what I want. And that's why I write black women in dark romance, because there are not that many black women in truly dark romance. I'm not going to hold back. These are not men that you want to meet in real life. These are not men that you want to be married to. I know because I married one.
Well, damn.
So that's what I write. I
Mm.
want black women to read my work, find the fantasy within it, but also see those red flags, the ones
Mm.
that I missed, right? The narcissists, the guys who say, "Oh, black women are not my type."
Mm.
No, I don't love a black woman. Not to say that we can't have men like that and have them fantasize about us, but know that there's a possibility that you're the black friend.
Mm.
You're that he's saying that's my black wife, so I can't be racist.
Oh, damn. So, with that being said, in this political climate that is shit, garbage, garbage, um, how does your writing stand as a protest against those who seek to suppress diverse voices?
Huh. I mean, I didn't think I was protesting.
I
I'm not
mean,
I'm not mad
black
at it.
literature is a form of protesting.
I mean, I'm not mad at it. I guess it will make more sense the further I go, because I do have A lot of plans for this year. My poor PA is in a corner. Like, if she plans one more thing, I'm going to break. But I do have a lot of things planned for this year, but I want to I had a fire, right? And my fire was fueled from a message that was basically like black women can't sell on covers. I wrote white heroines until then, baby. Okay? I did. I had the Rebeccas and I was having fun with the red hair and the small women and the very stereotypical trope of a romance character. And then my publisher said black women can't sell on covers. The average reader is someone who's like in their late 30s, early, all the way up to their 60s, white women who want interracial romance, but only with black men with white women. That was the conversation. I was not the only black author in this Zoom conversation, yet I was the only one to speak up. And I said, "Oh, that doesn't make me feel good at all. I don't know who you think you're talking to, but you're not talking to me." And then, I subsequently saw other authors start to tell me that this publisher would whitewash their characters. So, like, they would send in a published work, it would get edited, and it would come back to them, and what it was whitewashed. And I was just like, well, y'all already hate my work anyway. Let's make it black. And that's what happened. Like, really, that's truly what it was. I was just like, I want to see it black. Fine. Like, okay, if I can't be accepted doing what's normal, the sweet mafia men who are redeemable and they can rescue you and you'll fall in love with them and it's all sweet and everything and they barely murder anybody on the page, then I'm going to do everything opposite of that.
Mm.
And I'm going to make it a real struggle. And
Mm.
you're sitting here wondering why you still like that. I want you to question yourself.
I am questioning myself right now as you are talking. Because I'm sitting here like, Lord, Lord. Uh, have you ever had a moment where your writing was seen as controversial or too bold?
If I have, no one's really said it to
Mm.
my face loudly. I always say if you feel strongly about something, you can say it to my face with your chest. I, just nobody has. Even reviews are kind of like gentle nowadays. I
Not
don't
really.
know.
It's some it's some out here. Um, why is it important to tell bold and unfiltered uh stories despite the risk of criticism?
Because why are you trying to silence me? You don't know me like
Okay.
that,
Well,
right?
there you go.
Like, honestly, I am. I don't do interviews often, and that's because I'm a very, very blunt person. I'm a
Mhm.
salesperson in my day to day life. I talk people into stupid crap, and they give me money for it. That is my job. That is my job. I'm supposed to believe it, and that's what I sell every day. But, like, my story is a painful story, right?
Mhm.
And I want to share my story, but I also know that so many other people have painful stories. Why do you want to look away so bad? Right?
Mhm.
Like, it's and I hate to get political, but like honestly, it's like when Palestine happened. There's
Mhm.
so many people like, "Oh, I don't want to be involved. I don't want to speak up. I don't want to see it. I don't want to hear it." And I'm like, "But why? But for why?" You know what I mean? Like, those are the same people that if I were in distress, I feel like you would look away. If somebody kidnapped me in daylight, are you for real going to look away and not call 911?
Mhm.
The bystander effect shakes me to my core. The fact that it even exists, and if you don't know what it is, look it up. I'm not explaining. But, like, you know what I mean? Like, the fact that people will stand in a crowd and not do anything nowhere because, well, I thought so and so was going to do it. But, like, you are literally there and you see nobody doing anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, there have been instances where I've questioned, like, should I do this? We gonna do it. Like, and sometimes I'm safe, sometimes I'm not.
Yeah.
I see children, at the park and they'll like talk any type of way. I'm not gonna talk to your child. What? That's not my child. I'm not gonna discipline your child. I'm coming to you, baby. Where you
Mhm.
at? And now all of a sudden the children, they're well behaved because all of a sudden I'm talking to their parents because, yeah, why would I discipline you? You're not my child. I'm
Mm.
looking for your mama. Where's she at? Tell her to pull up. So like I don't want to be silenced. I don't want people to think that I'm like promoting these things, right?
Mhm.
Like I don't want people to think that, I trying to like censor myself because we're still on TikTok. You know what I mean? Like I don't want people to think like they read my stuff.
You let me tell you something. I am being mild right now compared to how I usually am.
Yeah,
So
because I feel
please
like
don't
TikTok will
censor
ban
yourself.
us. But I write like, a lot of grape and I don't want people to think like that's something I'm promoting. It's just in my life, as the years have gone on, I've
Mm,
just seen the cases get more and more staggering,
mm,
right? That it like literally my brother laughed the other day because my mom had said something like she carries her gun all the time because she could get kidnapped. And my brother's like, nobody's gonna kidnap you, mom, you're old. And I was like, yes, they would. She still has organs. And he was like, that was scary. Don't do that. I was like, but it's true though. You know what I mean? Like, and y'all, and like people don't think about that, but like the grape cases they're not getting any better.
mm,
The ban of TikTok had people, and I listen and I don't judge. I had people, here saying like, well, if the government can do that, why can't they get rid of, trafficking? Right.
mm,
And it sparks a conversation,
mm.
right? But we cannot forget that someone somewhere in the world is going through this.
Yeah.
You may hate it. You may want to look away. You may not want to think about it. Maybe you too have gone through something of that nature, but someone somewhere has lived through it.
Mm,
In my stories, there is a woman out there who has lived that exact life. I don't know who she is. I've
mm,
never met her, but I promise you she's out there.
mm.
And if I go by anything, Amazon Prime movies have taught me that in every single country there is a woman suffering,
Mm.
whether it's domestic violence, whether it's rape, whether it's microaggressions in the workplace, whether it's sexual assault, like every single woman. And I legitimately cannot tell you, in all my life I have never met someone who wasn't a victim.
Mm.
Isn't that strange? I am 33 years old.
That's so
I have
sad.
not met anyone in my life who has not been a victim in some way, shape, or form. Now, I know birds of a feather flock together, but I've met a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
I was just down in Florida a year ago for a convention. So I met a lot of people. And that also means a lot of people share their story with me, which is strange because, again, why do you think I'm approachable? But, like, you know what I mean? And I can't keep hearing the same thing. Like, I too can't pay for therapy, you guys. All right. But Suzanne told me about what happened, 14 years ago, and I have nightmares. So, what my nightmares spawn, I got to get them out. I got to get it out. And sometimes it's real and sometimes it's not real, but I can tell you somewhere somebody can find something within that story and be like, damn, that's me.
Yeah. And this leads into my next question, like, your books don't shy away from hard topics. How do you ensure that they are handled with care while avoiding stereotypes?
Oh, man. See, that's hard because there, honestly, I push through. Um, Trapping his darling. God, everyone loves that book. I feel
Mm,
like I haven't met anyone yet who doesn't like that book because it's just a fun book. Like two serial unalivers, like running around creating mayhem and falling in love. But to write the opening scene for Victor was one of the hardest things I've ever had to write because I am not just a mom, I am a mom of a boy. So to write sexual assault of a child who is a boy was so close to home. I was disgusted. I think it took me 2 months to get back into the book after
mm,
I finished his racine, and I couldn't edit it. I had to get my team to edit it. because I had put myself so deeply in that situation. Now, there are certain scenes that come to me where I can't not write it down. They're very vivid. And Victor's scene, that's why Victor got a book. He was not supposed to have a book. It was literally supposed to just be a Lexi for an anthology. Y'all did this, okay? It was an anthology piece, and I made a promise that I would write the full story. And the brother ended up taking up the page. And I was like, all right, I'm done this book. And Victor was like, hey, here's some history about me you didn't know. And I was like, oh my God, that's awful. And I thought about taking it out. I really did. I thought about removing it, the scene, but I was like, no, because there's probably somebody's mama out there whose little boy has lived this. And if that's how it is, like, I really do just push through, because if somebody can live it, then I can write it.
Have you ever been reached out by like a reader about saying your books like kind of help them through something difficult? If so, how did that make you feel?
No,
No.
no, not at all. Readers usually reach out and ask me what's wrong with them. I like, and I'm like, I don't know. Whatever's wrong with you is wrong with me, sis. All right, it's cool. We're all in the same boat, same yellow submarine. But I haven't. I'm not Kenya Wright, guys. It's gonna be all right. Like,
Don't talk about my girl.
I'm not. I'm not. I honestly, I think this year was the year that I was like, well, it was December of last year. I said to my team, I was like, do I have emotional scenes? Like, what are you doing over there? And I was like, no, seriously, do I have emotional scenes? Because somebody said TikTok, you could, if you're gonna promote books, you got to promote emotional scenes. And like, I had to go through my work, and I was like, oh, I do have emotional scenes.
Jesus.
I'm dead inside, you guys. I'm sorry. The world made me this way.
Oh
I'm
my
trying to
God.
get better. I'm trying to get better, I promise. But yeah.
You talk about feeling the you talked about feeling seen. Why is that a statement that is important to you?
I feel like we all deserve to be seen, right?
Mm.
Like, again, like I said, I don't want white authors to shy away from writing Black characters. That's not what I want. In fact, I want us all to write all the things that we want to write and represent whoever we want to represent. But if you are going to write about a marginalized community that you are not a part of, please ensure that there are already marginalized authors from that community that have their success first. So I do have readers that have asked me, well, will you go back and write like this type of character, some of my Asian characters? And I will, for the men, but not for the women. Why? Because and sue me, I don't know if there's more, the only Asian mafia author that I know of, even close, is Anna Huang.
I was about to say that.
That's the only one I know of. So for me to keep writing Asian girlies, I'm not that I'm not comfortable, because if I feel like another story, I do have a story that's panned in, but it's not going to be promoted like that, because again, there's only Anna Huang, and Asians are also not a monolith. So if they only have one author, I'm gonna need to see a bunch more. Same with like Desi stories, things of that nature. Like, I've done it once, and I don't mind doing it. I don't mind doing the research. I don't mind finding the sensitivity readers or things of that nature. I'm not lazy by any means. I'm gonna ask people. But if I don't see other authors, and it's not just other authors in the subgenre, it's other authors like me. Your freak got to match mine, right? It's not just, oh, he's morally gray. No, it would have to be like closer to horror for me to be like, okay, now maybe I can take up some space that they have a couple of authors or a handful, or it's a big boom. I don't know, but that's how I feel about representation. Like, y'all got to get your lick back in your own communities before I take a dip in that, because I don't want somebody taking their lick back in my community and I still haven't gotten my lick back.
Yeah. Do you feel like writing has been like a form of self discovery or self acceptance?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Writing being an author in general has changed my life, even
Mm,
though the money has not changed my life. I want to be clear. The journey has, because
yeah.
I first started, if you had asked me back then what I thought of my character, I would tell you that I was a very toxic
Mm,
individual. Hold that thought. And as I moved on to my journey, I've realized that I am not toxic. The people around me were toxic. And I
mm,
couldn't see it. My personality is to literally give you the same exact energy you give me.
mm,
You're like smooth, cool, and mellow. I'm gonna be smooth, cool, and mellow. It's something called like mimicking
mm-hmm.
for people who mask in social settings.
I
So
get it.
yeah, and educated girlies come through. That's right. If you don't know, just pick up a book. I don't know what to tell you. But like
I
that's
do
why I
get it.
don't explain certain things like stealthing. It literally says in my book, if you don't know what that is, go and Google it because I'm not explaining it to you. There were so many different true crime cases from that, but I digress. Um, yeah. So I realized that I mask
Mm,
and I mimic what others give to me. And when I realized that, I kind of separated them all and
mm-hmm.
started to like individually work one on one with them.
Mm,
And instead of like me just going with the flow, being my like cool self, I really started listening. And when you notice someone who starts listening and stops talking, that means they're paying attention to the words that are actually coming out of your mouth. And when I realized the words that were coming out of their mouths were so negative,
yeah.
all of a sudden I stopped answering my phone.
Yeah. My phone stay on D&D. Um so do you feel like creating stories where characters feel seen helps readers who may have similar experiences for those red flags, the strong independent woman, um seeing these males actually be assholes for real, for real.
Yeah. One, because you never know. Like, right, I grew up in a time where, and it really just depends on where you were raised. I grew
Mm-hmm.
up in a time where girlies would, go out. They go take a train from Philly to New York. I did not live in Philadelphia. Let's be clear. My cousins lived in Philly. I spent the summer there, so I thought I was gangster. South Philadelphia in the summer, academy kid like me. Anyways, I thought I was gangster. But these girls would go, they routinely take like trains and stuff up to Philly or up to New York, and they'd meet rappers and things of that nature. And it was books that actually started coming out with these stories of like rappers who would kidnap women or they would beat them or something like that. And I think a lot of that would be in the urban fiction, street lit kind of area. And that at the time, that was the branch that I was reaching out for reading.
Mm-hmm.
And I just kind of took it from there.
Mm. Do you think that when you hear readers say that when it comes to black authors, they're right, street lit, urban fiction, paranormal, even contemporary, they might say, and they look like us, and they say, "Oh, I cannot read this black author because of the trauma and the what is the word they be saying?
That's
Uh,
correct.
the fuck, I can't even think of it. Trauma and trauma, not trauma bonded, but struggle love. There you go. Struggle love. How do you feel about our own people saying that, but then they'll go to the white authors and be like, this is the best thing ever?
I have two words for you: Tyler Perry.
Ooh, 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 ooh.
We've been talking about him since I was in college, baby. And the fact that the black community was eating up his struggle love until he got on that interview and actually said it out loud with his full chest.
Mm,
Right? Now, all of a sudden, Mr. Tyler is doing what our good old Shonda Rhimes is doing and trying to give us, a black love stories that are actually love stories. So, for that, I will say, got to give authors grace, right? We're all human beings. We don't want to use AI. We're not robots. For you to believe that they will come out with something that they have never experienced a day in their life, for it to be perfect, to hit every right note. You're out of your damn mind. You are setting them up for failure. So, when I push my white author friends to write black girlies, I'm not pushing them to fail or get canceled. I'm pushing them to learn. Because you will never know what you did wrong until them reviews come out. And baby, they hurt. They hurt. But all you gotta do is say sorry and change. You know what I'm saying? It's not that big of a deal. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you put fried chicken and watermelon in your book, it's okay, sweetie. Next time, do some black eyed peas or something like that. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, some greens.
I
Some
think it's how they use it.
maybe.
How they That's just like the author that put the the bacon grease in the girl's hair and said that's what black women use in their hair.
I don't read shit like that. But if I did, I'd probably be mad.
Yeah.
Because what do you mean bacon grease? Girl, I don't even put eggs in my hair. And I know people say it's good for deep conditioning, but what is Shea Moisture doing if I need eggs? These eggs are expensive.
Oh my goodness. On your website, you said that you are a anime girly. Now, I am an anime girly. And I like mangas. Well, mangas is more so like it depends. A more graphic novel type hardback type chick.
More manhwa now than anything else, just because I like the artistic style. Now, I will say my website hasn't been updated for a while, and it has been a long time since I have watched an anime, a Korean drama. Life be life, and honestly, it's very hard. I write all the time. Just like I read all the time. I am constantly writing. It's very hard for me to read subtitles and write. And if I'm in the zone or if I'm forcing myself, which usually I am because I've got work tomorrow all through the week 9 to 5. Like, so I do push myself to write more so I can get more work out. I just don't have the bandwidth to do it.
Yeah. What makes you write so many books? Like you write a lot of books.
Yeah. So just a couple things. Um, um, One, I don't sleep. I sleep maybe 2 to 3 hours a night.
Join the club.
Yeah, I go to bed usually early, and then I wake up at 2 a.m. and I play around on the internet for 3 4 hours, and then I go back to sleep. Um, I live paycheck to paycheck. Just be real. I do. I live paycheck to paycheck, and routinely, I am almost always worried I'm going to get evicted because I am a single parent on one income because I decided to leave my husband. Like that was the choice I made. I couldn't stay. If you asked me 2 years ago, 3 years ago, I probably would have told you if I stay in my marriage, I'm going to die.
Mm.
And I had authors who were like, listen, you leave this man or we can't be friends. Because again, what you see on video, you see on video. You know what I mean? Video, Zoom calls, things of that nature, they show you a lot about a person. And that's why a lot of authors are very, coveted about their identity and like, being on video chat and things of that nature. But you see a lot and day to day. And we all have been in traumatic situations. That's why we read dark romance, right? So when you've been in that life, you've lived it, and you see a friend that you love in that same situation, do you say something or do you stand by? Do you look away, right? So that's really what authorhood did. I started asking questions, and I had friends who just said, do you hear how that person talks to you?
Mm.
Do you want to be talked like that? Like, do you want to be treated like that? Because if that's your kink, okay, you know what I mean? But you didn't seem like that type of girl. And then it's also realizing when you marry young, people change. The same type of people that you married when you were 18, 19 years old. I'm a very ambitious person. If it were up to me, my success would happen today. And I would open a publishing company and all my friends would succeed and everybody would thrive and Black authors would have a place to put their books and really somebody who's going to read it and actually hustle the hell out of it.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll tell you one thing, there are many readers over the years who have come and found me and been like, I picked up your work because you were promoting this author. Didn't
Mm,
know anything about me. Didn't even realize I was an author. It was just that I saw something and I posted it, and they're like, "Yeah." I was like, "Whoa, really? Let me go read that." And then I picked up your work because you told me about them, and now I'm like, I love them because I actually want everybody to succeed. I don't.
absolutely.
I don't get the tearing people down or like giving each other bad advice so that you can see others fail, or just the backwoods stupid shit that happens in chats. I don't have the time for it.
Yeah.
It's too tiring, you know and I feel like if you really care about an author and you really love their work, you'll talk about it,
Facts.
because how else will they know, right?
That's true. That's
i
true.
could i could end any series today.
Mm,
I could stop writing it today. I
mm.
told my PA, I literally came up with another series idea that I don't have time for this morning. She was like, "You just woke up." I was like, "Actually, I've been up for 3 hours, but listen to this idea." And she was like, "That's a great idea, but you can't do it this year." And I was like, "You're right, you're right, you're right. I have 14 books to write this year."
Jesus.
Am I going to write 14 books? Probably not. Maybe. We'll see. It
Oh
depends on
my,
how much sleep I get.
oh my God. So, speaking of that, okay, can you describe your first book you ever wrote
Oh, God.
and what was the inspiration behind it?
Okay. Behind two screens. Don't buy it, first off. The publisher has stolen my work. Anyway, first book I ever wrote has like this really muscular looking, crazy looking dude on it. It was about a girl who was getting out of an abusive relationship, and he basically like stalks her, but she like meets her guy via like the phone, because like she is just in her house all the time.
Yeah.
What inspired this book was that I graduated from college, fresh off of having a baby, almost died, and I was unhappy with life. Like
Mm-hmm.
really unhappy, like in a very low place.
Mm-hmm.
But like mama didn't raise no quitter.
Yeah.
So I started handwriting this story. And I just wanted it to be what like real romance would look like, what I couldn't find in my marriage at that time. And then I didn't edit it. I just typed it up and I sent it out to 10 publishers. I got 8 no's and got picked up right after that. And like to other authors, that was like, "That's unheard of." And I was like, "Really?" They're like, "Yeah, you should sign." So I totally signed. Like because it was unheard of. Like some people were telling me they got like 500 no's, things of that nature. Um, but I'm also tenacious. When I email people, I follow up those emails, and I will follow up weekly to find out when are you going to answer me back.
Mm.
Oh, your website says 3 months. Okay, so you were going to have 3 months of emails of me going, "Hey, did you receive my email? Did you receive this? Can we do business or no?"
Damn. How does your latest book compare? How does your latest book compare in terms of like themes, writing style, and confidence from your first book?
I think Trapping His Angel is actually more reminiscent of my first book than any other book that I've written. And
Mm.
that's because he's soft. Benedict is soft. He's soft for her. He falls first. He doesn't hurt her. She has her legs. It's a very gentle, heartwarming story.
Wait, we're not gonna walk past that. You said she has her legs. What the?
Pre-order Hunted to the Altar. I told you I'm like 3 books ahead of y'all.
What the fuck?
Limbs were lost, and the girlies. I didn't mean to do this, but Benedict lost his eye. Okay, he did something and he deserved it. But all the girls on my team were like, "Oh, not his eye," and I was like, "He has another eye. He can still shoot." My one friend was like, "You should have taken both of them." And I was like, "See." So he got off light and it changed who he was as a character. He already hated his family. You know, he thinks they're weirdos anyways, and they're all psychopaths. So that makes sense. So he is the green flag. And when I talked to my cover artist, who was basically on her deathbed, she got out of the hospital. And I was like, hey, I love you. I know you're dying, but I need a cover. Mm-hmm.
Girl.
Yeah, yeah. Because guess what? Selena Michaels waits for no man. Death will not stop me. Oh, Tia, I love you. So yeah, I called her and I was like, he's my green flag. And that's where, because she also knows blue is my favorite color. That's kind of like where we get this like bluish, greenish color. Um, but sometimes I think they're green flags and I get told they are not green flags and that there is something severely wrong with me in my brain. So I don't know. Y'all have to tell me if he's a green flag. I thought he was sweet.
In what way do you feel you've grown as a writer over the years?
When I first started out, I think that I put myself in a box. I don't know if it was because of like different editors, being in a publishing house or whatever, but like if you ask me, I would tell you there are certain do's and there are certain don'ts, and I can do this, but I can't do that. And my character can be black, but he has to be of a white variety, or my character can be biracial, but then he has to, give the vibes of a black man. Like there was just so much black and white to it. Now I'm like, oh no, I can do that as long as it makes sense. You know,
Mm,
oh, she ran, she lost her legs. Now she can't run anymore. It makes sense.
she- the- it's the legs for me. Okay. I and this has been a very enlightening conversation. I have never see dark romance authors. Y'all are a different breed, especially black ones. Y'all are some of y'all are kind of. I really think y'all need that jacket,
What jacket?
the straight one, the straight one, y'all. Mm-hmm. Because it's the legs for me.
It's
I
because
just
my PA complained and she was like, why do we even need to break her legs? I was like, well, I was going to cut them off. And see, what had happened was the way that I had typed it out, my PA thought I cut off her legs. And then when she found out that it was just broken, she's like, oh, no, it's fine. As long as you didn't cut them off. I was like, well, now that you suggested it, maybe I should. Like, I was like, they can always change.
just the fact that you said this normally, like it's just something that happens every girl.
No,
Shit.
this morning, my poor readers, I was like, okay, so if how many nuns does it take to hold you down? And they were like, Selena, it's 8 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday. And I was like, and I have to go to church in 2 hours. Now, how many nuns does it take to hold your legs open? We got to two. There was going to be four. But then I was like, why do we need four?
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I had to go to church and take communion. Yeah, what happened was, yes. What happened was.
So, um, where are you going to be? Are you doing any book signings? Are you doing any virtual book signings or anything like that? No. Where can people buy your books
I
and
absolutely say it's for
physical
Kindle Unlimited.
copies and ebooks? And do you have a Facebook group?
I do. I have a Facebook group. It's this Sinbin? Yes. Before I started reading hockey romance, that's where we got this. And I had already said it was going to be the LLC name. So it's too late. I now know what the Sinbin is. And it wasn't at all what I thought it was. I thought it was where hedonistic people went to go play. I mean, if you read hockey romance, that usually is what happens in the Sinbin once everybody leaves the arena. But so my Facebook group is a Sinbin. You can find me in Kindle Unlimited, and my paperbacks are on Amazon. But don't
Okay.
buy anything with people on the covers that is old because
Oh,
we don't. If it doesn't say the Sin Bin LLC and the publisher, don't buy it.
okay. Okay. And how can people reach you on social media?
Well, I tell people if they want to reach me, they have to go through my PA first. So you can reach me by reaching out to Bria. I think readingoveradulting@gmail.com is her contacts, and all of her socials are reading over adulting. Now, I will say, because I too slide in other people's DMs, if you are an author, my DMs are open to you. But if you're a reader, I do appreciate people going through Bria first.
And is that also for podcasters who want to do interviews with you?
Yeah, because she'll set it all up. I literally, she said I give her way too much power. I'm just like, yeah, so you want to do this? Yeah, you take over that. Okay, great. Call me when I have to show up. Like today, I was like, Bria, do you know I have an interview today? She's like, you do? And I was like, I do.
Jesus, Jesus. So, with that being said, I appreciate you for coming on. And this was a very enlightening conversation of the mind of a dark romance author. Um, yeah, y'all crazy. Yeah, batshit crazy. Yeah, I'm still gonna take baby steps into dark romance. Uh, because the way you just described those situations, I'm gonna need a minute and a lot of alcohol.
That's why you don't stay. So for me, you did ask me a question earlier that was like, how do you kind of like maintain your sanity? I don't always say as dark, like, you know what I mean? Like, if you'll notice, if you pay attention and you read via publication, you'll notice that it's like a roller coaster. So just like life, you'll get a sane character, a crazy character, a sane character, a crazy character, four sane characters, four crazy characters, and all of them, in my mind, all of my characters are mentally insane. They just don't always say it. So like when people are like, I didn't expect him to do that, I'm just like, but they're insane. So when you put it that way, it all makes sense.
I mean, that's true. That's true. I mean, but see, I guess because my real life, because I'm a certified sociopath. Like, literally, that's what I am. Medication and all, unfortunately. But when I read it, I just be like, It's just I just can't. I try. I try.
Hey, I try too. I try to be gentle. When I wrote The Cruel Air, which was like last month, I was like, this is my first black love romance, and I already know, like, the black girlies, they're not really, a fan of the grape. So I was like, we're gonna be gentle. And it did not turn out at all. I think the only gentle thing that happened was her getting stuck in the dryer, and that was it.
How
Um,
does one get stuck in the fucking? You know
okay,
what?
but hold on. So, first of all, I have always loved, let me tell you something. If I'm going to do something where it's a stereotype, it's going to be funny. Okay. So, I have in two different works stuck a heroine in a dryer, but it wasn't my work because sometimes I just tell authors that they can just do stuff, and I'm like, this is a great idea, use it, girl, and they'll go use it, and I'm like, oh, I feel so flattered, I love you. So I told somebody to put a heroine in the dryer. Then I had this stepbrother romance, and I was like, man, I don't know. And that's when I was looking for like black taboo authors because I was like, I want to read like the stepbrothers and things of that nature. It was gentle. So I wanted a plus size girly who she's also pregnant. So she is pregnant, plus size, and nobody can tell that she's pregnant because she's plus size. She works there. She gets her clothes wet, decides she's going to dry them, and she's pulling them out of the dryer. And this rich man is like, I ordered my call girl. Where's she at? Oh, she's in the dryer. And then bang, bang, bangity bang. Yeah, but it was gentle, like not what he did to her when she was in the dryer, but like her getting into the dryer. So I made it an industrial dryer, and then I was following BL Mute's page, and she has a
Oh, I
regular.
love BL. She is just
Look through her
fire.
pictures. She has a picture of her stuck in the dryer, and I said, BL, if I knew I could do it in a regular dryer, I didn't need the industrial one.
Y'all are insane. Y'all are wow. Y'all are oh
But if you
wow.
wanted a black girly to be stuck in a dryer, then you should pick up the Cruel Air.
Um yeah, I'm speechless. Yeah, I'm going to read this book. And I feel like I'm going to slide in your DMs and be like, what the fuck is this? I feel like in my spirit that I am about to go in your DMs like, what the fuck is this?
Well, I also got pulled into some St. Patrick's Day shenanigans, led by Yolanda Olson, who is a horror dark romance girly. She's also Latina, if you guys didn't know. She roped me into some shenanigans, and I finished my story for that as well. And we learn what happens when you just drug somebody.
Oh my god.
Listen, we're in an era of these villains are just going to do what these villains are just going to do.
Oh my god. Uh huh. Uh huh. Um.
You can fit in your dryer, Ellie. I just want you to know that.
Hmm.
You might want to try it out tonight. If you break your dryer, though, I can't afford to pay for another one.
Wow. Are you intending on going to any future events or anything? Are you stepping outside? I know you say you don't like being around people.
I don't, but I also chose my PA because we grew up around the same area. And my idea was because I have so many family out there and whatnot, it'd be easy for me to visit and do events out there. I just want to make sure that I'm a full time author.
Mm.
Right now, I work too much and I have a very sick child. So
Mm.
I tend to stay in the house, and that's really just, me finding the right readers, the right set of readers that are going to be loud and vocal about what they love about my books so that I can be full time. And then, yeah, and I want to bring Bria with me. And she's like, you have it all planned out. I was like, I've been planning this for 2 years. I was like, I know I can write it off for taxes. Don't worry, just show up.
Oh my god. Well, I'm reading damn book, and I feel like um you probably get multiple messages from me. You don't even have to read them all. I might come in your DM and write a diary entry, but know that either I'm going to be like, this was just too much for me. Great story, but too much, or I'm going to be like, what's next?
Wait, it depends. Which story are you reading?
You said the cruel air, right?
The Cruel Air isn't out until September yet.
Okay.
You got time.
To what? Prepare myself?
I mean, yeah, because before The Cruel Air comes out, Hunted's probably gonna come out. Trapping His Beauty is gonna come out.
Okay, so which book should I start with?
Depends. Do you want really dark or do you just want like forbidden?
That is not a that is not a that is not a choice.
There's always a choice.
Wait a minute. You just said, do I
It's a
want
big
dark
thing, just not in
romance?
my books.
Oh my god. So it's either dark romance or forbidden.
So, Stalk to the Altar is forbidden. That's a forbidden series, and he's like an ex mafia heir who is a professor, and his next door neighbor is who he's stalking. The difference is the themes that happen within the story. So forbidden can 100% be forbidden without being dark. Forbidden is not taboo. Taboo, blood relations for me. That's a personal thing. I know readers have their own little thing, but for me, taboo is 100% blood relations type thing. Forbidden is step, auntie, like guardian, ward, bodyguard, that type of thing. Like they're forbidden, but they're not like illegal. And I
Mm.
really feel like the taboo girlies have a big, big uphill struggle when they do blood relations. So I don't like that their subgenre is so wishy washy with their terms, but not my circus, not my monkeys. So Stop to the Altar is forbidden. It is dark still because I'm always gonna have dark themes. I do dark romance, but the Trapping series is, I feel like, darker than the Stalk series. Like I feel like the Petroves are 100% darker than the Caputos, um, but darkness is always subjective. So
Oh my god. So which one am I starting out with?
Smart Black Girlies forbidden. Probably stalk. I feel like you're a stalk to the altar type girly.
Okay.
I feel like stalk to the altar will be up your alley. There's the smart black girlies is the theme for the Caputo series.
I feel like I'm about to be just turned every which way but loose.
Professor Silas is very hot. I didn't think the girlies were going to like him as much as they did. And to this day, I still like this book has been out for what was a re-release. So
Why is the first as soon as I put in stalked, it says stalk to the author by Selena Michaels. Damn.
this year it is my most popular book.
So this is the Caputo's crime family?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Oh boy.
Yeah, her professor's pretty hot.
All right now. Nah.
It's book 2 that's probably gonna have you clutching your pearls. I really feel like Professor Silas is like super, gentle. He was a sweetheart. He was like a morally gray alpha male, almost on the verge of BDSM, but we don't actually follow consent rules, so we don't call it BDSM. That kind of thing. He was like, hold you up against the wall and growl in your ear, but let you run away when you want to.
Okay. Yep. I'm gonna be in your DMs. I know it. I know it. Just if you don't answer me on TikTok, I'm just gonna find you on Facebook, and I'm just gonna leave the same message so you get it twice.
Not leave the same message.
Yep. But I want to thank you for coming onto the podcast. This will be up on Spotify and YouTube sometime next week.
I'll send it to everyone. I will not re-listen because I hate the sound of my own voice. But
That's insane.
It really is insanity because people have told me I have like a soothing voice, and I'm just like, y'all are psychopaths. I 100%. I sound like one of those munchkins. Yes, to me, it's like nails on a chalkboard. And like I've been asked to do podcasts and like make my own podcast, and I'm like, I have to edit it. This voice is not. 2 years ago, I used to use the voice changer on TikTok whenever I would do anything because I hate the sound of my own voice. I absolutely do. It's awful.
Oh my god. Okay. I hope to see you do. I do hope to see you out, and I hope that you do become a full-time author because we need more Black and Latinx authors. So I do hope you do become a full-time author because there's actually a subset of Black women that want dark romance for Black women, and they're tired of reading everybody else but Black women.
They gotta find me because I promise you, my day job actually slows me down. My PA was like, if you didn't have your day job, you would probably be trying to push 20 books a year. And I'm like, I would, because what else am I gonna do? We got all day.
What else? Okay. But if y'all are on here, y'all like dark romance or getting into dark romance, check out her books. Check out her books. That's all I'm gonna say. Because I'm gonna read stuff to the author. So if y'all see a review with me or on my blog or on my website and it says, "What in the fuck did I get into?" I'm blaming her. I'm blaming